This week's Heroic Escalation is the Frost Escalation, so we're going to talk about the Frost Escalation talent tree in this video. But first, if you guys haven't already watched it, go back and watch the Blaze Escalation talent tree. In that one, I go in depth as to why you need to level up your escalations before proceeding to the 10 to 50 escalations and the heroic escalations in that talent tree build guide. We're going to use the same format we've used in the last video. That was a lot easier for you guys, I think, to understand and a lot easier for me to edit the video. The first talent point we're going to put in is Furlined Gear. Now, this is going to reduce the rate that Frostbite builds up on your character by 10%. We're going to be picking up all of these along the way as soon as possible. This is going to keep you from getting frozen into a block of ice in the Frost Escalation. These are very important early on, but you're going to probably want to take some of these off later on when they're not so relevant. Until you get maybe into the heroic escalations, then you might need to put these things back on just for safety purposes. Next up, we're going to put a point into Frozen Armor. You gain 25% shield that refreshes every 10 seconds, and this shield grows an additional 25 health each round. A nice little survivability perk just because. Then we're going to put 2 points into Zai's maneuvers to give us a little bit extra movement speed. One of the reasons I really like Frost Escalation is you can really amp up your move speed in here. A really fun escalation to play Tempest builds on because of that, but this is going to help you navigate that ridiculously large map that is the Frost Escalation. And then we're going to put another point into Furlined Gear. Next, we're going to put 3 points into Hot and Cold. Increases your attack speed by 9%. However, anytime you take damage, it's going to increase your frostbite by 2%. A nice attack speed bonus, but it's going to cost you a little bit of frostbite. Then we're going to put another point into Furlined Gear for more frostbite resistance. We're going to put a point into Bottled Warmth. Every time you hit one of those braziers that reduces frostbite, this is going to prevent the frostbite from building up for 8 seconds after you leave the radius of it. This is really nice in combination with the move speed bonuses you can get in here that you can pretty much keep your frostbite from building up in between fights. Then we're going to put 3 whole points into Mora's Reinforcements. This is going to reduce the damage you take in Frost Escalations by 15%. Then we're going to put 3 points into Cat's Claws. This is going to give us a 10% attack damage bonus while we're in Frost Escalations. Then we're going to put 3 points into Lucky Strikes. This is going to increase our critical strike chance in Frost Escalations by 15%. Now we're going to go back and pick up another perk before we move on. So if you're still struggling with Frostbite at this point, you're going to put a point into Warm Blooded. The first time you would be frostbitten during each round, it reduces your Frostbite by 50%. Really nice perk if you're struggling with that, and even at late game, this has been very helpful. If you're not struggling with Frostbite at this point, though, pick up a point into Heated Blade. You absorb flames from the braziers, granting you a stack of Heated Blade. Your next attack is going to detonate that Heated Blade, causing an increase of 50% damage for every stack of it that you have. This causes some really nice big hits. Definitely worth picking this one up. Now, the Frost Escalation doesn't have things to pick up from other escalations like the other amp trees do. So we're going to pick up Aspect of the Warrior. This is going to increase your critical strike damage by 10% and an additional 10% if you pick up the crit avatar at the beginning of the escalation. So we're going to backtrack and pick up Warm Blooded. This is going to help a lot with the Frostbite. Definitely worth picking up. It can save a run when stuff just doesn't go right. So at this point, we've got some options. You've got the Aspect of the Defender, which is going to grant you attack speed when a behemoth is staggered. You've got the Aspect of the Scout. When a part is wounded, you get increased damage for the remainder of the escalation. And then you've got the Pulsing Healing that's supposed to go with the Shield avatar. So my recommendation is to put a point into Aspect of the Defender for the increased attack speed every time a behemoth is staggered. If you're running with a group, the behemoth is most likely going to get staggered, and this is a stacking 1% attack speed and 2% attack speed if you are the stagger avatar. Next, I would put a point into Cold Rush. When a behemoth dies, you gain an additional 25% increased move speed, 15% increased attack speed, and 10% additional damage for 2 minutes. This is a really nice buff, and it comes up every time a behemoth is killed inside the escalation. That leaves you with 1 point left. You can either use that last point to max out Zai's maneuvers, which is what I do personally, or if you're playing a wounding weapon, you could put a point into Aspect of the Scout. When a behemoth part is wounded, you gain an increased 1% damage for the remainder of the escalation, or 2% increased damage if you're the Avatar of Subtlety, the wounding avatar that you pick up at the start of the escalation. Now, one passive ability we really need to talk about here is Never Bothered Me. When Frostbite falls below 50%, it rapidly fills back up to 50%. gaining 15% increased attack damage and 15% increased attack reduction. A lot of people do not read this one through all the way. This is going to make it so you can never be below 50% frostbite. A lot of people take this without reading this full talent point. Those are usually the people that get frozen in the middle of their frost escalations. This is absolutely a valid talent point to take. It's a great talent point to take. But you have to keep in mind, if you are not building for frost escalation, meaning you are not taking +6 pulse and the crit avatar, this is going to be detrimental. If you're not running a stagger build and taking the stagger avatar, this is going to be very detrimental. If you're not taking a wounding build and the wounding avatar, this will be detrimental. And if you're not taking a shielding build with the shielding avatar, this is going to be very detrimental. Only take this if you are building and taking the appropriate avatar. Meaning if you're doing it solo, +6 pulse, and the crit avatar, this is totally worth taking. I would take a point out of his eyes and put a point into this if you're running +6 pulse with the crit avatar solo. If you're running with a group, unless the whole group is got a game plan where everybody knows what avatar they're taking and has a build appropriate for that avatar, do not take this perk. It will end up with you being a block of ice. I hope you guys found this video useful. I know the Frost Escalation is coming up soon, and I'm excited to try out the Heroic Frost Escalation. It's one of the ones that I don't think I've done very much of. I know I've fought plenty of Heroic Urska in Gauntlet, so I'm not exactly looking forward to fighting him outside of Gauntlet, but maybe it's going to be some payback time. If you're a newer player to Dauntless and you're looking for a Dauntless community to join, I've got a link in the video description for our Discord server. We've got an active Discord server full of people playing Dauntless, and we're always looking for more people to play with, and you are welcome to join. If you're looking for a guild to join, we also have an in-game guild that is currently progressing through Gauntlet. We're currently ranked 55 for this Season 3, but we're hoping to push in Season 4 even higher than that. So we're always recruiting active players interested in Gauntlet for Season 4 to get ready to try to push to the top 5 of the leaderboards next season. If you're a newer player to Dauntless, I'm going to leave a video right here with a pre-escalation build guide. It uses no escalation gear to get you all set up and ready to go into your first escalation, be it the 1 through 13, the 10 to 50, or even to farm the gear you need to get into the 50 to 90 Heroic Escalation. I will see you guys in the next video.